Have you ever noticed something strange? You're upset, you're hurt, you're trying to explain how you feel, and they're just sitting there, calm, almost relaxed, like nothing is happening. And the more emotional you get, the calmer they become. It feels like they're winning something you didn't agree to play. And here's the part no one tells you. That calm, it's not peace, it's strategy. Today we're breaking down why narcissists stay emotionally steady, while you spiral and what that actually means about power. Because once you understand this, you'll never react the same way again. Section 1. The illusion of emotional control. At first you might think, wow, they're so composed. They're so logical. They don't let feelings control them. But that's not emotional strength. It's emotional detachment. See, most people argue from emotion. They argue because they're hurt, because they care, because something feels unfair. A narcissist argues from position. They're not trying to solve the issue. They're trying to maintain status. When you get emotional, you're expressing vulnerability. When they stay calm, they're protecting dominance. And in social psychology, the person who appears calmer often looks more in control, even if they're the one who caused the situation. That's the illusion. Their calm isn't maturity. It's emotional disconnection. Section 3, the psychological game behind the calm. There's something else happening. When you get emotional and they stay calm, observers subconsciously decide, maybe you're the irrational one. That's powerful, because image matters to narcissists more than truth. They weaponize contrast. The more emotional you look, the more composed they appear. It shifts blame without them saying a word. Now suddenly you're explaining yourself. You're apologizing for your tone. You're questioning whether you overreacted. And they haven't even raised their voice. They didn't need to, because emotional imbalance creates social advantage. And narcissists know this. Section 4, emotional provocation is intentional. Sometimes they're not calm by accident. They provoke you on purpose. They say something subtle, something dismissive, something slightly hurtful, just enough. And then they wait, because if you react, they win twice. First, they triggered you. Second, you look unstable. That's emotional baiting. And when you take it, they stay relaxed. Not because they're unaffected, but because control is more important to them than connection. Normal people escalate emotionally when they feel attacked. Narcissists detach emotionally when they feel power. Big difference. Section 5, why you lose leverage when you react. Every emotional outburst gives something away. It says, this matters more to me than it does to you. And in conflict, the one who cares more usually loses leverage. Narcissists understand something most people don't. The person who reacts first gives up position. Position is social currency. In arguments, silence is pressure. Reaction is relief. When you react, you release tension. When they stay calm, they create tension. And people unconsciously respond to tension. It shifts the center of gravity. The room starts watching you instead of them. Section 6, why it feels so frustrating. The reason this dynamic hurts so much is simple. You're trying to resolve the issue. They're trying to control the frame. You want emotional understanding. They want emotional advantage. And when those goals don't match, chaos happens. You feel unheard. They feel empowered. You feel dismissed. They feel superior. That emotional disconnect creates frustration, because deep down you want fairness. They want dominance. Section 7, how to break the pattern. Here's where most people get it wrong. They try to win emotionally. They try to explain better. Prove harder, argue smarter, but you don't out-argue a narcissist emotionally. You outposition them strategically. The upgrade is simple. Slow down. When provoked, pause. When dismissed, don't chase. When baited, don't bite. Silence is not weakness. Controlled silence shifts power back. And when you refuse to react emotionally, something interesting happens. They get uncomfortable, because now they can't read you. And unpredictability removes leverage. Section 8. Emotional neutrality is power. This doesn't mean suppress everything. It means control timing, control tone, control facial expression. You respond calmly. You state facts. You don't over-explain. You don't defend unnecessarily. When they try to escalate, you stay steady. And suddenly the dynamic changes, because narcissists thrive on imbalance. But when there's no imbalance, there's no fuel. Emotional neutrality forces exposure. Now their tactics become obvious. Their provocations become visible, and their control attempts lose strength. Section 9, final warning. Here's the final truth. Their calm is not peace. It's positioning. It's composure built on detachment. And once you understand that, you stop being impressed by it. You stop competing emotionally. You stop chasing fairness from someone who's chasing dominance. And you start protecting your emotional energy instead. Because the strongest position in any interaction is controlled emotional discipline. Calm isn't about suppression. It's about awareness. And when you learn how to stay steady, you stop being easy to control. You stop giving away leverage. You stop feeding the pattern. And most importantly, you stop letting their calm intimidate your emotion. Because real strength isn't loud, and it isn't cold. It's controlled.